You know what makes me sad? It's not the fact that Toriko is ending. I mean, granted, I am sad it's ending, but that's not the big reason. The big reason why I'm sad is because after reading this chapter, you could truly see the passion that the writer has for Toriko. This chapter just lets you know that the writer truly cared about his series. And when you see the way the chapter was handled, to the flashbacks, to just remembering everything that happened, you see how much care and effort the writer put into Toriko. And what makes me sad is that some of the things that you see in this chapter when it comes to flashbacks or remembering, especially the stuff that we know has been getting rushed this year, you noticed how it was quickly covered or not shown much about it, but everything else that we've seen develop over the years, it was shown. Which it really indicates that the mangaka was being rushed. And it makes you sad because you know if this series would have been handled any differently, like if it would have been not rushed, all these other scenes that didn't have as much of an impact that we've had throughout this year would have had more of an impact if the writer was given a little bit more time. Maybe, you know, till next year, but that's not going to happen. And it just makes me sad. It makes me really sad just seeing the passion, how much passion was put into something, and to see how it was just cut, like, just slit the throat of the series. And that's what happened. So, yeah. It's depressing. It's pretty fucking depressing when you really take a moment to realize how much passion was put into this chapter. So, FYI, if you haven't heard the news, Anime News Network announced early last night that apparently the chapter they announced, which I covered last week, it's not the final chapter. Next week is the final chapter, which is declared at the bottom of the, final page of this chapter. Then next week is the finale. So Anime News Network, they corrected it last night saying, oh wait, don't worry, there is actually another chapter coming out next week. So, as we all heard, that means that there is one more chapter of Toriko left. The definite finale of Toriko. This chapter, even though it was a little bit longer, it is not the finale of the series. So we have one more week left for Toriko to end. But overall, though, I highly doubt all the things we're going to get answered that we've all been questioning since, we found out about Toriko ending. So, I mean, it's still sad about that. But, I mean, it's not the final chapter, so we can breathe easy at the very least. There's probably still some time left to see some things get clarified. Maybe, the mangaka will try to clarify as much as he can in the final chapter, or it can be just a straight-up epilogue. And what happens to everyone a few years later, so, yeah, we'll have to see how it's handled. But, yeah, apparently it's not the final chapter. Next week we're going to get a cover page, color page. That's just very good. That's very good news. And I mean, 1 week left. Just like, damn. So, this chapter overall, it's just a walk down memory lane. That's what it is. It's a chapter that lets you think about all the stuff we've been through throughout the series. All these different arcs and stuff. Ice Hell to the Regal Mammoth, just all sorts of different arcs we've been through. We get to see flashbacks of this. They weren't completely dived into and explained, but we see key critical moments throughout these arcs that truly made us remember and, feel something. And, I mean, I haven't been with Toriko for a long time. I've only been with it for about a year and a couple months now, about a year and a half, so around in there. I haven't been around with been with Toriko for that long. There's been many fans for many years now that have recommended me to start this series and have been long-time fans of the series. And I know for a fact they're going to get rather emotional when reading this chapter. I got sad when I read this chapter. I was like, damn, I remember reading these arcs, seeing stuff like this and all that. And then when I was, seeing the chapter show these flashbacks, it made me feel a lot. I just can't imagine how people that have been reading Toriko since the beginning or for years now just can see the series coming to an end like this, the way it's been handled. I mean, granted, it's being handled way better than, I guess, Bleach. I mean, Bleach, no, let's not even get into that mess. So, I mean, in a way, we can breathe easy to say that Toriko is ending hell of a lot better than Bleach did. I mean, it could still be better, but, I mean, it's ending hell of a lot better than it was, but still getting that Bleach treatment. But, I mean, many fans of the series, I know, is going to be feeling sad or depressed after this chapter. I mean, all the memories and everything we've been through throughout the journey of Toriko, all these different arcs and development with the characters, it's It's sad. And when you see this, like I said earlier on in this video, you could see the passion of the writing, how much the writer really cared about these critical moments, and how you can see that he probably wanted to do that for the other arcs that were skipped, like Adam and stuff, you know, the Cassius full course. Well, a lot of these different little mini arcs were skipped. Not just the space arc that's not going to happen now, but there was mini arcs earlier this year that got skipped. I mean, that could have possibly had development for our characters, but we didn't get it because now we know the reason. So yeah, I mean, overall, the final chapter, it really just brings out all those emotions. Even though I'm sad and mad with Shonen Jump for doing what they're doing right now, I could say at the very least, this could be a hell of a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. But thanks to the writer kind of being good at writing, and also just, you know, knowing that the series is going to be having to wrap up probably for a while now, most likely the majority of this year, you could definitely see that he's tried to handle it in a way that could possibly be tasteful, but he knows he couldn't do everything. So, the only thing that really bugs me with, you know, the series as a conclusion right now, the only two big critical things that bug me, okay? Besides the Neo stuff, which I've already said my piece on that, is the third demon and the second demon. See, the second demon, Toriko's starting to be able to use at the end of the fight, but the third demon wasn't really awakened back. Like, I mean, being able to fully be used again and all that, and with the next week being the final chapter, we know now that that's not gonna be clarified. We're not gonna see this probably dived into as much as maybe the writer wanted to. There is a possibility next chapter could give us our answers to it, but I mean, overall, though, I'm willing to bet you the writer didn't want to, you know, do it in the way that's probably gonna have to be handled, if it is handled in the first place. So, it's just sad. It's very sad. But, I mean, those are my only questions or things I have that I'm a little bit disappointed about, besides the space arc, of course. But, I mean, as long as the main goal was, you know, accomplished, which it was in this chapter, I guess I could say I'm satisfied. I mean, if we think about it, the series did have its goal accomplished. I mean, Toriko's main goal was to complete his full course and share God and everybody with his full course, like shares food and God, and that's what he did. That's what we saw in this chapter. God was being shared with everyone. And that was kind of one of the big goals throughout the series to see, and Toriko sitting down at a dinner table, and we can at the very least say that Toriko, the series, got that goal that we wanted to see since the very beginning. I mean, it wasn't everything that we envisioned, but it was better than what we got from other series that's ended this year. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. I mean, how do you all feel about Toriko's, you know, final chapters? I mean, next week is the finale, and, I mean, this was kind of like that, you know, trip down memory lane chapter. Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or nights wherever you live. I mean, how do you feel about all the characters meeting up and all that, Midora dying in his gravestone? I mean, just how do you feel about all this? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.